Hello lovers, happy Tuesday, and I am wanting to talk with you tonight about this problem of looking for commitment and not having it. So do you ever feel, especially if you're a single lady and you're looking for love, do you ever feel that you just can't find someone who really wants to date seriously, who wants to get into a relationship? Do you find that you're just attracting people who are dating a bunch of different people, don't really seem to care, maybe just got out of a relationship, or just don't really prioritize wanting to find love? Well, sometimes that happens because we ourselves are not fully committing to a piece of ourself. So anytime that we're looking for partnership and it's just not happening, or we're stuck on this wheel of casual dating, it's really important to ask ourselves, well, where am I not committing to something within myself? And this is why it's a big problem, is because we meet someone, we start dating, we get interested in them, and then we get addicted. A lot of us get addicted to that feeling of elation, or those butterflies, or the spark, or the joy, or just the fun of having someone to explore the world with. It can really light up our life. But then we start associating that person with feeling good instead of staying committed to feeling good regardless of the person, regardless of the circumstance. And the reason this is such a big problem is because casual dating and just going on a few dates or going on one date and then it going nowhere is totally rampant. There's more online dating apps than ever. I think there's over 50 million people on the dating apps, and a third of those have never even gone out with anyone. They're just kind of trolling and wasting everyone's time. But even the ones who are going out, a lot of them aren't turning into relationships. Only 20% of relationships last year started online. Now, my clients, half of them meet their person in person and half of them meet their person online because they've learned how to online date successfully. But one of the key things that I teach my clients, and also in a lot of my trainings, I have a training on the 4 fearless feminine actions to take to find love. And the third fearless feminine action is to stay committed to yourself. So the reason this is a big deal is that if we're not staying committed to ourselves, we're putting that person on a pedestal. We're saying, your needs are more important than me. Me feeling good with you is more important than me feeling good in general. Your desires in the relationship, your level of commitment, your interests, your passions, those are all more important than mine. And we lose our commitment to ourselves in really sneaky ways. So if you've ever felt like you had to walk on eggshells and that you couldn't actually express how you feel, you're not being committed to yourself. If you've ever had a really strong feeling and you've just stuffed it inside, or you've waited for a different time, or you've thought to yourself, well, I can't say that because he's going to think I'm crazy or she's going to think I'm crazy, then you're not staying committed to yourself. If you've ever dated someone for a long time, and even more than a few months, and they knew they didn't want a relationship and you knew that you did, but you were just hoping that it got better, then you might have a challenge with committing to yourself. Or if you've ever found yourself in a friends with benefits situation and just hoping that it was going to turn into something more, or maybe knowing that you actually didn't want something more, but you were just settling for that, there's no judgment, but that's not going to get you to your goal if your goal is to have this committed, healthy, sustainable, amazing partnership. So what I find time and time again is that we lose the ability to commit to ourselves when we make the other person and them feeling good more important than us feeling good. And this is not just something you can do overnight. This isn't just okay, I'm going to be committed to myself. It's a skill, it's an art, it's a thing that we have to practice, because most of us, especially a lot of women in society, have gotten used to putting other people's needs first and forgetting about ourselves. And we don't even know what it would mean to commit to ourselves. Or we have this fear, well, if I'm committed to myself, it means that I'm not going to get a partner because I'm just going to be Miss Independent. But the truth is that once we get into a relationship and it's been a few weeks or a few months, the relationship can easily turn codependent if we don't still have our own passions, our own interests, our own pursuits, and the things that we're deeply committed to. And a word that I like to use instead of commitment is devotion. What are you devoted to in your life? And if it's just your partner and making him or her feel amazing, I'm just going to tell you that's not enough. It's not enough just to dedicate your life to someone else feeling good. What about yourself? What about this mission that you're here to do in the world? What are your gifts? What are the things that you want to create? Where do you want to travel? What sort of adventures do you want to get into? And we forget about all of that because we make someone else the only way that we can feel loved, instead of recognizing that we feel love internally, and then from that place we attract the right partner to us and build a great relationship. Now, a lot of women that I've worked with, and I've worked with hundreds and thousands of women on this, they really struggle with this because this pattern gets formed early in childhood. So we decide when we're young, okay, Mommy and daddy feeling good and taking good care of me is more important than anything else. And for good reason, right? Like our survival is depending on it, and we want our parents to love us and to approve of us and all of those things. But we either get so sucked into that cycle of seeking someone else's approval, and then it bleeds into our relationships and our love relationships later down the road, or we rebel, or we become the rebel. And then we're rebelling against all of our relationships and thinking he's not good enough for me, or she's not good enough for me, or this isn't going to work. And we find all these sneaky ways to push love away by rebelling against something that might actually be really, really good for us. And I'm kind of laughing as I say that because I've gone through that same thing. I've gone through periods where I was single for 5 or 6 years and just finding reasons to not connect with someone, finding reasons to push them away. So whether you're in a relationship or whether you're single right now, I'm really curious, like, what is it that you're devoted to? What is it that you're committed to? Can you build something that's encompassing your partnership, but not just single focused on your partnership, so that the partnership can really flourish? Because no one wants to be with someone that doesn't have anything going on, that's just like a wet noodle waiting for their partner to come home and waiting for their partner to ask about something or waiting for their partner to do something. And even if you want to be in your feminine energy and you want to be led by your partner, you can still contribute a ton to the relationship energetically by having your own pursuits and having your own passions. And it's kind of like a 3-legged stool. If there's 3 legs to the stool, it's going to stand really well. If there's just 2 legs, it's going to fall over. It's not going to really be able to stand. So if you think of a relationship as the 2 people that are in it without a 3rd leg, then it's not going to sustain itself. But you can think of that 3rd leg as, for many people, it's children. It's a project that they're creating together. Sometimes it's buying a house or moving somewhere new. Sometimes it's taking a trip around the world. But that 3rd leg can also be established through your own commitment to your own individual journey. And this is how we create interdependent relationships. Most everyone in society is rebelling against codependent relationships for good reason, because they can be really toxic and limiting to our spiritual growth and our personal growth and our career growth and all of those things. But in this evolution from codependent, we sometimes go into independent and we lose our connection with each other. And most of us are seeking this deep connection, but with the freedom to have that interdependence. And this is how we do it, is by staying committed to ourselves, to speaking our truth in the moment, to noticing our needs, to noticing our emotions and our body sensations, and then being able to share those with our partner, and also have these other things that keep us enthusiastic about life and passionate. And then we can create that interdependent connection, which feels so safe, so good for our nervous system, but also challenging in all the best ways as we grow into our best self. So I like to think of it kind of like, maybe it's not the DNA helix. I don't know what I would describe it as, but I'm going to make the motion with my hands. It's kind of like we connect with our partner and then we move away, and then we connect and then we move away. And most of us have not mastered the art of navigating that cycle. We move away and we freak out and we leave, or we blame the other person, or we come together and we think that we should just be like Velcro, stuck like this. But that's not serving anyone. That's not serving the world. So what I really want is for us as a species, as a planet, to create interdependent relationships where we're always feeling safe in a healthy container, but we're also feeling challenged to be our best self. And I find that happens through commitment and even clarity or openness on what that might be. You might be asking yourself, well, I don't know what I'm passionate about. I don't know what I'm committed to, but maybe you can take some time and think about it. What am I devoted to? What am I committed to? What am I willing to put time and energy and heart and love into? And how can I make sure that it's supporting my partner, but also supporting my greatest self? So if you feel that you struggle with getting into committed partnerships or maintaining the commitment in partnerships, or if you struggle with just having these other passions in your life to keep yourself and your relationship really juicy, then I would love to talk. You can go to violetlang.com/talk and set up a free 45-minute breakthrough to love session with me or my team. And we're passionate about creating healthy love on the planet. So you'll get a lot of clarity on what your patterns have been, what might be holding you back from your next great relationship, and what it is that you really want. What is that co-creative, interdependent relationship look like for you? And if we can help you get there, we will totally tell you and show you how. And if for whatever reason we can't, then we will, of course, point you in another direction or give you some other resources. So either way, you get closer to love. And you are the love. You are the love that it's expressing itself. But sometimes we forget that, or we're accidentally hiding our own light. So again, you can go to violetlang.com/talk and set up your free breakthrough to love session. And I'm going to be going live more often this month to talk about love, dating, and relationships. And creating this global revolution of love. So I will see you then. Mwah.